guest today is Miss Amy Chin, a CBD educator who will help clarify some of our lack of understanding about CBD. Amy is the founder of Calm Better Days. She's completed a certification in the cannabinoid protocol with Dr. Mary Clifton, a board-certified licensed doctor of internal medicine and a recognized expert in cannabis and CBD. I am Bilal McLeod, and I will be your host today. So let's get started with our guest, Ms. Amy Chin. Amy, you're a diehard New Yorker who attended Brooklyn Tech and the State University of New York at Buffalo. You currently reside on the Lower East Side with your husband and two daughters. Can you tell us two things? Exactly what is CBD and what led to your interest in CBD?
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Afia Wellness, for having me. And the first question, what is CBD? I'm going to answer that in a bit because that's going to be a lengthy one. However, what brought me to CBD is that after my second child, after giving birth, I had anxiety and postpartum depression, which I did not know I had until my marriage therapist told me that I had it. And when she did, that's when it made sense why I was depressed, irritable, cranky, tired. I thought I was, it was part of motherhood. I thought it was something I just had to deal with. And I didn't realize that those were symptoms of anxiety and postpartum depression. She then told me that because I was trying to lead a more holistic life, I didn't want prescribed drugs. She said I should try CBD. And at that time, it was not federally legal. So I had to get my medical card and I got my CBD and my life changed. It was night and day. I was no longer that irritable, cranky, screaming mom. I was able to get out of the bed and, face the day. I was able to finally respond to the day's challenges instead of being highly reactive. And once I saw the change in myself from consuming CBD, I was just amazed and felt a calling that to, help others know about this wonderful healing plan. I knew that if I didn't know I had anxiety and postpartum depression, I am sure a lot of other moms also don't know. And then to find something that was gentle on the body, that heals and gets to the root of the problem, I just felt a need to share that. And so I began diving into CBD, studying it, wondering how it works and everything. And once I saw that, then I saw that there were two issues in the space. And that is one, not everyone understands how to use plant medicine properly to really get the results they need. And then two, when we're in desperate need, we're not in the mental capacity to also find safe quality products. I mean, if you're new to CBD or cannabis, I agree, it's very overwhelming when you walk into a dispensary or walk into a store and, you may not know the best products to buy. So I saw those two issues and wanted to resolve those two issues and started my company, Calm Better Days. And that's how Calm Better Days was born.
Very good. Very good. Now, can you get into explain for us what is the CBD?
Yeah, so I'm going to start my slideshow. So what is CBD? CBD is one of over 100 cannabinoids found in the cannabis plant. And we are just scratching the surface with CBD. So we're finding that other cannabinoids are just as useful for targeting specific health symptoms. But today we're going to focus on CBD. And right now, the two most famous cannabinoids are CBD and THC. So THC is the cannabinoid that we all know to get you euphorically high. This is the one that we've been using for many years, and the whole war on drugs was because of THC. CBD, however, is the non-intoxicating cannabinoid. So you do not get that euphoric high. They are, however, both psychoactive in the sense that if a person has depression and they're using CBD, their mood will be elevated, however, not euphoric. So that is that distinct difference within the two cannabinoids. And when we look at all the CBD products on the shelves these days, we have to remember there are three types of CBD: full spectrum, broad spectrum, and an isolate. Full spectrum, you can think of it as the whole plant, where it has all the beneficial cannabinoids and terpenes. Terpenes determine the scent of the plant and also the flavor, and also terpenes have their own specific healing properties. And they are also found in other plants and fruits as well. For example, the terpene linalool is in lavender that provides that calming effect. Limonene is another terpene found in lemon zest that provides that energizing boost. So when we think of whole plant, and we think of it as all the cannabinoids and terpenes working synergistically together to provide you the maximum healing benefits, what they call the entourage effect. So that is what full spectrum is. And then broad spectrum, you can think of it as whole plant minus THC, because some people have a sensitivity to THC where it may trigger anxiety or paranoia. And sometimes even, let's say you have a drug test, sometimes people may not want to flag the THC and use a broad spectrum product. And lastly, we have an isolate CBD, which is just a CBD molecule itself extracted from the plant. And because it doesn't have the supporting cannabinoids and terpenes, usually you would need a higher dosage of an isolate to equal the efficacy of a full spectrum product. An analogy would be, let's say you're vitamin C deficient. You can get vitamin C from an orange, which would be full spectrum, the whole plant, where it has other beneficial minerals and nutrients in the orange, and versus a vitamin C tablet, which would be just a vitamin C, which would be an isolate. So that's an easy way to remember the three types of CBD. So now we're going to talk about the 7 benefits of CBD for seniors. But before we do that, let's take a look at the current health situation for seniors. Today in America, there are about 46 million individuals who are 65 years of age or older. And according to the Harvard Neurodiscovery Center, 5 million seniors suffer from Alzheimer's, 1 million from Parkinson's, and 300,000 seniors suffer from MS. And according to the CDC, 49.6% of seniors suffer from arthritis and 27% from mental health issues. So how can CBD benefit seniors? One, CBD can help manage pain from conditions such as arthritis, joint pain, and multiple sclerosis. 2, CBD promotes bone health. CBD can actually strengthen the bones and promote the healing process if a fracture does occur. And 3, CBD can improve sleep quality. And we all know if we don't get good sleep, it just worsens every other symptom or health issue that we have, because sleep is when our body can heal itself and recharge. 4, CBD can combat addiction. And we know that usually prescription drugs can sometimes be addictive, and CBD has been known to be an exit drug. So many people have used it to wean off of other drugs. Number 5, CBD can improve heart health. It can reduce high blood pressure and has many antioxidant properties to help reduce cardiac inflammation, and can deter cell death caused by oxidative stress. Number 6, CBD can deter neurodegenerative diseases. It can be a potential treatment for diseases such as Alzheimer's and multiple sclerosis.
Amy, a question.
Yes.
This question was actually submitted by Michelle. It's about the CBD and the heart health, and how does it work to lower the blood pressure in specific?
Well, blood pressure, what attributes to it, some factors are anxiety, lack of sleep, fatigue. So CBD definitely helps with calming effects to help you relax, reduce anxiety, help you sleep better, and help with fatigue. So that, in essence, will lower your blood pressure. And then which in turn will also lower your heart disease. And also CBD for heart health will reduce inflammation and also minimize irregular heartbeats, arrhythmias. So in that essence, also when you're reducing inflammation, it's reducing also the arteries and plaque.
Now, I have other medications because I had a stroke. And I had a stroke because of high blood pressure. So, can CBD, if I take CBD, can I lessen my other drugs so to create that balance?
You can, it will definitely lessen your drugs intake. However, we do want to be very careful when we're using CBD with our current prescription medication. If you do have, if you're taking blood thinners or medication to lower your blood pressure, yes, there may be some drug interaction, especially drugs where you cannot use with grapefruit. CBD works similar as the grapefruit, where it inhibits the P450 enzyme from working, doing its job. The P450 enzyme basically breaks down your drugs when it enters your liver and your stomach. It metabolizes it. So we do have to be careful. If, let's say, for instance, you're taking a high dosage of CBD and you're taking a blood thinner or a blood pressure medication, it can lower your blood pressure too much. So that is a concern. So you definitely want to consult your doctor. Let your doctor know. He can either lower your dosage of the heart thinner medication or the blood pressure. And I also understand a lot of Western doctors may not know how to treat, a person consuming CBD along with prescription drugs. And what you can do is, on my website, I have Leaf 411, a partnership that I have with them. And Leaf 411 is a Canna Nurse hotline that you can call. It is a free service. They are a nonprofit organization. And what you can do is call and say, I am on medication, XYZ, list everything you are on. And you can tell them, I would like to use CBD. Will this interact with my current medication? And how should I go about it? And they will walk you through everything, what will interact, and how to take your CBD along with your Western medication. That way you can feel rest assured that it's safe and that you know what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you. If I have one more question, if we can, please.
Yes.
You made reference to CBD helping with mental health issues. So I was just wondering if there was any evidence that the CBD could help in either the symptoms or delaying the effects of disease like dementia or Alzheimer's.
Yes, it definitely can. There has been a study, a 2016 study from California Salk Institute. And they have found that cannabinoids such as CBD could help remove dementia and increase connections from brain cells. So once you reduce the impact of the inflammation, the oxygen buildup, and brain cells, you're also increasing levels of proteins that eliminate the dead cells and plaque in brain for Alzheimer's. So that'll help improve both the memory and motor function. And it also promotes growth and development of brain cells, reducing the decline of memory and other brain functions. So it can definitely help with Alzheimer's.
Thank you very much.
So from Remedy Review, they asked 1,047 seniors who were joining the green movement and asked them the top health-related reasons for CBD use. And the top one at 42% is inflammation. And we know that, once inflammation sets in and builds in our body, it just opens the gateway to, more serious disease. So once we quell the inflammation, our body can go back to healing. The second most health-related usage is for chronic pain, which is usually associated with nerves or joints, arthritis, fibromyalgia. And then the third is poor sleep quality. And fourth is arthritis. And also asked side effects. The top side effects experienced after trying CBD was 12.4% for dry mouth, 6.7% for change in appetite, and 5.6% for fatigue. And nearly 3 in 4 seniors said they did not experience any side effects after trying CBD. So that's great that the most we need to worry about is dry mouth. And then the advantages of CBD. What were the top benefits cited by seniors? And they said 61.1% said reduced pain, 46% said improved sleep quality, and 30% said anxiety was reduced, and 30% stress relief. So, in conclusion, 78% of seniors said they were satisfied with CBD, and 89% said they would recommend their family members or friends to try CBD for health-related reasons. And how are they administering? What is the delivery method they are choosing to consume CBD? The top percent, 55%, is in drops in mouth. That would be tinctures. And drops in beverages, 21.1%. And next are edibles. Edibles are capsules or gummies, chocolate, tea, anything that needs to go through your stomach to metabolize. 15.6% are using capsules and 10% for vape or smoke.
This slide here, the question I wanted to ask, and I think we've spoke on this in the past, but I just wanted to bring it out again, was the vape and the vape or smoke, and my concern was the safety and any particular effect that it may have on the lungs.
Got it. So if you're using a vaporizer, usually there is no harm in using a vaporizer as long as, one, you are using a clean oil cartridge. Clean meaning there are no toxins in it. You've checked the certificate of analysis. There's nothing else in that cartridge but the CBD extract. And you also want to make sure that you are keeping it at the lowest temperature, and also that the quality of the hardware you're using, the vaporizer, is also of quality material. Because if you're using shoddy hardware, you can be combusting and leaking lead. We don't want to be ingesting lead into our body. And also, when it's at such a high temperature, you are burning off, one, the beneficial cannabinoids, and also at such a high combustion, at such a high temperature, you're combusting materials that can be toxic to you. So when I say keep it at a low temperature, that would be at lower than 340. When you're smoking it, however, which could be in paper, a joint or a blunt, or, using a pipe even, you remember that when you're lighting it up with a lighter, that is combusting paper and the leaves itself, which are carcinogenic. and also you're breathing in, ingesting toxins. So I personally recommend a vaporizer. If it's a clean cartridge and if it's quality hardware, then you are fine. Then it is not at all harmful to you. If, however, you are asthmatic, of course, I would just stay away from even a vaporizer.
Thank you.
Okay.
Cheryl?
Thank you. I'm very curious about the Western lack of knowledge around CBD. Western doctors are very prideful in their expertise, but I like the fact that you can be a consumer of CBD and have an outlet where you can be rest assured that you're taking something that ultimately will show up clinically, and the doctor will respond by reducing the protocol. And they never have to know, right? They could say, it could come out, oh, I'm using CBD, I'm working with such and such, but you don't have that initial perhaps hesitancy or even discouragement of using the product because the doctor is not familiar with the efficacy, effectiveness, or management. So I think that's very critical for people, not only with CBD, but just in general, to be an informed consumer. But I like the fact that you do have that service and recognize that need. Thank you.
Thank you.
And, Amy, can people discuss with Leaf Fly what their medications are, and then they can find out what they should take? Because I know lots of Western doctors don't even entertain CBD. If you ask them, they will tell you, I don't know anything about it. Just take my medicine. You know, they will not even hear about it or want to learn about it. So in that case, can somebody call Leaf Fly for that?
Yes, they can definitely call Leaf 411 and
Leaf
ask them
411.
every question they need to ask regarding their current medication. And that is what is so wonderful about it, because they're knowledgeable about Western medication and also how cannabis or CBD will interact with it. So let's talk about, how does CBD work in our body? How is it able to address so many different issues? It almost sounds too wonderful. But it can, and that is because in all humans, all mammals, which includes dogs and cats, which is why you also see CBD pet treats, we all have something called the endocannabinoid system. And our endocannabinoid system is in charge of every body function and system in our body. And its only one job is to bring our body back to balance, what they call homeostasis. So your endocannabinoid system is in charge of your motor activity, your mood, your regulating your hormones, regulating your appetite, your sleep. It's regulating your blood glucose sugar level so that one doesn't have diabetes. And how our endocannabinoid system works is that it's comprised of CB1 and CB2 receptors. CB1 receptors are usually found in the brain and the spine, and CB2 receptors are found in pretty much our immune system and every other part of our body. And how it communicates is that the cannabinoids, so you'll notice in the word endocannabinoid, endo meaning body, and cannabinoid because we actually produce our own cannabinoids. And when we're taking CBD, which is a phytocannabinoid, it mimics our own natural producing ones to help our endocannabinoid system run. So the cannabinoids in our body are the runners between our CB1 and CB2 receptors. And it communicates back to our endocannabinoid system to say, hey, this needs fixing, this needs balancing, and that's what the CBD does. So imagine so the next question would be, well, if I have this wonderful endocannabinoid system and it brings our body back to balance and homeostasis, why do I still have health issue XYZ? And that is because most of us humans have what we call cannabinoid deficiency. And we produce our own cannabinoids, but we depleted because we're using it every day. And we're using it every day when we have a stress signal. It's because when we have the stress signal, that's when the cannabinoids are like, oh, I feel that stress signal. Let me go find what needs healing, what needs balancing. And back in prehistoric days, when we were stressed, it would signal the fight or flight. And for example, you would see a lion and you would need to run, and you find this superhuman strength. Your cortisol levels are shooting up and you run as fast as you can and you save your life. However, in modern day stress, we are stressed 24/7. We have social media, the phone, we're on all the time. And of course, right now, we're still living through a pandemic. And when we're stressed 24/7, which our body is not meant to be, but when we are, your cannabinoids are running all over trying to find the stress signal. And eventually, our bodies, because it's not meant to deal with stress 24/7, you end up using all your cannabinoids. And when that happens, it cannot communicate or find the signal, and your endocannabinoid system cannot do its job. So your body is then open to serious disease. So an analogy would be, imagine your computer is open, you've got 10 programs open, 10 tabs in each, and you want to start a Zoom call. Your computer crashes and says enough, and you either need to do a restart or add in more memory to your computer. So in essence, when we are taking CBD, we are depleting we are replenishing our depleted cannabinoids to reboot our endocannabinoid system and to help it run efficiently. Okay, I know that was a lot. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yes, awesome. So that is how it can treat so many different health issues. It is not necessarily the CBD, it is your endocannabinoid system doing that, but the CBD helps it run more efficiently. Okay.
It's like gas for your body.
Yeah. So what to look for when buying CBD? First off, you always want to buy an organic product. And you want to buy an organic product because hemp is a potent bioaccumulator. So it will soak up all the toxins in the soil, which can be fungus, mold, pesticide, heavy metals, mycotoxins, things we do not want in our body, and things that will set off another health condition. And it is so potent as a bioaccumulator. It was planted at Chernobyl to clean up the soil from the radiation. So this is something you definitely want to buy organic. And every quality product should have a certificate of analysis. And what this certificate of analysis should confirm, one, is that the dosage that is written on the bottle is actually what's in there, because they have found that many brands will claim it's 1,000 milligrams full spectrum, but when they look at the certificate of analysis, find that maybe only half of it is in there, and maybe it's not a full spectrum product. So definitely look at the certificate of analysis. And newer packaging will have a QR code on it. You can use your phone to bring up that QR code, and you will find the certificate of analysis. So you can always look at it right away. And if a product doesn't have a certificate of analysis, that is a red flag not to buy. Okay, so when we look at the certificate of analysis, it is basically telling you, so you see here how it has all the different cannabinoids listed. So this has CBC, CBD, and a bit of CBDA, and D9 THC. So because it has the minor cannabinoids, the other cannabinoids, that is telling you it's a full spectrum product. If it was all non-detected, 000, and just CBD, then that means it would be an isolate product. So that is the way to tell whether it's a full spectrum, broad spectrum, or an isolate. Other tests also, and this is, dependent by each state. It usually will tell you if it tested for the toxins that I named earlier. Some states don't require it. I personally like to choose a product where they do test for it because I would like to know. And here, this is telling you the total cannabinoids added up, all these CBC, CBD, CBDA is adding up to 21.549%. And the total CBD is 19 milligrams. So 19 milligrams, about 20 milligrams, and the genetic variety over here says 500 milligrams. So they used a tincture or a bottle that had 500 milligrams, and they probably use 1 ml, which is the full dropper. So that equals 19 milligrams in that full dropper. And usually the way they measure it is by 30 servings a bottle. So if you do, let's see, 20 times 30 servings equals 600 milligrams. Okay. So that's a bit off. And just to let you know, certificate of analysis, they have a leeway of 10 milligrams because this is, again, plant medicine, so it's very hard to always have the exact measurement. So they are allowed 10 milligrams difference. So that might be why it's coming out to 600 milligrams. Okay. Any questions on that?
I have a question and a comment, actually.
Okay.
So in my preparation for your presentation, for the first time, I went to a couple of CBD stores. I'd never been to one of these stores before. My doctor would just have a company ship it to me. So I went to see if they could actually explain any of the information that you just outlined on the certificate of analysis, and I just wanted to share it really quickly. I went to two places. The first place I went to, I got in the front door, but then they wouldn't let me go into the store because they said you need a medical card to get in. So I was like, okay, I hear you. And I asked him about it, and he directed me to another place where you could go. And he was explaining to me the differences in the quality, and maybe you can add some verification to this in regards to your own selection of items. He said that the difference between a dispensary, I think he called it, like without the medical component, whatever they call that. He said the difference between those was price and quality. Price and quality. And so I left him. I went to another facility. I went to a dispensary, okay, which was interesting. As when I came in the door, the lady was like, I told her, this is my first time, you know? And she's like, well, welcome to the future, you know, all this other stuff. It was it was different. Anyway, so when I wanted to put her to the test to see if she would know about these components of the certificate of analysis. And she did the best that a retail agent could do, because her function really was buy this product, is what the real function was. So she said a few things, she read from the labels and everything, and basically just left it at that. So I just wanted to add that in there. And if there's a difference between and you might broach this topic later, but I was wondering about a difference between the medical facility and the retail dispensaries.
So at a medical dispensary, you're able to buy products with THC, depending on what state you're in. For example, New York, THC, you can still only get with a medical card. I know New York is legal, however, it has not rolled out yet. So you would need a medical card to buy the THC component.
If I can add, in Massachusetts, you can just buy the THC wherever, like, like coffee.
You know? Right. But at a medical dispensary, you could buy a higher dosage, and you can get different ratios of CBD to THC. Whereas if you're going to a regular CBD store, you will not have a product higher than 0.3% THC. So when someone is needing a higher THC ratio for, let's say, intense pain or severe, Parkinson's or epilepsy, they may need a higher THC ratio in their product. Also, in a regular CBD store, you can find quality CBD, but you just won't get that THC component. So when you go to a medical dispensary, patients can get different ratios and a higher dosage of THC. They can also buy different quantities of THC versus a person who does not have a medical card. They have a limit of how much they can buy. And in terms of quality, that I feel that you always need to do your research, because even, let's just say you're buying from a medical dispensary, what's happening now is that big money conglomerates are almost pharmaceuticalizing the industry. So what that means is they have a license to cultivate and corner the market. A lot of the mom and pops, the real growers, the real cultivators who are hand harvesting, are getting pushed out. So when those big conglomerates are able to corner the industry, they are not hand harvesting. They are using corn combines to gather and harvest the plant. And when that happens, all the beneficial terpenes are kind of, from that huge corn combine, are being, knocked out of the plant. And also, when you're using a big corn combine, you can't really see what is ready to harvest. You're just grabbing everything. And that includes the stalks and everything, and which in essence means more biomass. So yes, you can say that it is better quality in some ways. It goes back to, again, knowing your source, knowing your supplier, checking the certificate of analysis, looking into the brand. Who is it? Is it a big company that is in it just for money? Or is it craft cannabis, hand harvested from someone who's been growing for years? It's a big difference. And I know that it takes a lot of research as well, that not everyone would even know to look into.
I would like to make a comment. I have a medical marijuana card, and they sell CBD in the medical marijuana. However, the difference between you and stores are that they don't understand. They're just selling a product. They will say to you, I say, I have arthritis. What do you have? They will say, these are the products I have for arthritis. Now, they can't tell you which is better, how it's different, or anything like that. That's why our customers, our people who watch this show, should go to Amy, because you can get a consultation so that she can explain to you before you go to the stores. And even she can provide the products to you so that you don't have to go to the stores. Because in the stores, they don't care about you. They care about selling. And they don't understand what they're selling. They're just taught to sell. So that's why we're bringing you this program, to teach you about all the ins and outs of CBD and why you should go to a specialist like Amy.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. Yes. And, I said earlier, we're just scratching the surface with CBD. We're now finding other cannabinoids, like CBN is great for sleep. CBG is great for if you're suffering from IBS, Crohn's disease. So we're finding other cannabinoids are just as wonderful. So I feel that, especially today when, dispensaries are opening up left and right, you want to make sure that you talk to someone who knows all these different cannabinoids and also really understands what you're suffering from. Michelle, you brought up arthritis, and there's rheumatoid arthritis and regular arthritis. And rheumatoid is an autoimmune disease. So you would benefit from a CBG product because autoimmune all stems from the gut. It's all related, and you want to bring good gut flora to combat that if it was rheumatoid arthritis that you're suffering from. Just an example to show you.
This is a nascent industry. So do you guys have conferences, newsletters, or do you have a professional organization? I mean, this is one of the few times we can really get to see an industry born besides tech.
Yes, and let me tell you, it is so hard keeping up with all the information coming out. There are so many organizations. I mean, I've taken my certification course with Dr. Mary Clifton, but there's new information coming out because we are only now allowed to study the plant, because when it was illegal, we were not allowed to study the plant. And that's something a lot of people don't know, is that, well, why didn't they, how come we don't have information? Well, when it's illegal, you're not allowed to study it. So, so there's definitely a lot of organizations, studies being every single day, and it is definitely hard keeping up with it. I'm doing my best on top of trying to, work on my company and everything else, but it is a full-time job, let me tell you. But it's so fun because every day there's new discoveries, and, the industry is just so innovative in the sense that, before, products today, the formulas are mixed with adaptogens or herbs, or we know now like which cannabinoids or which terpenes will give you certain effects. So it's come a long way, and it's got so much more to go.
Do you create your own products? Are you able, like a pharmacist, to put those together?
That would be called white labeling. A lot of people do that. I don't, because I feel that I don't want to pretend to be a cultivator or a grower. I prefer to carry brands that are the growers, that are the cultivators. And the brands that I carry actually are mostly small farmed, women-owned, or BIPOC-owned brands, because I believe in conscious consumerism. I want to vote with my dollars. I want to put it to the small farms that are being pushed out. I also believe the quality is in the small farms, that hand harvesting, that personal attention. So I do not make any of my own products. I rather support the brands that are doing it right and that are getting pushed out of the industry.
Thank you.
Can you show us some of your products and discuss pricing?
So here's a slide on methods of delivery, and we have tinctures, gummies, suppositories, topicals, and a vaporizer. So tinctures run from, I would say, about $50 to $90. Will last you probably about, it depends obviously how often you're using it, but can last about a month or so. Then the edibles, those are $35 a bottle. And there's 20 gummies in there. And a vaporizer, that vaporizer is $35 as well. Topicals are about 40 to 60, depending on the strength. And suppositories, that one is $24. And I'm going to talk about methods of delivery. When we think about, these are the different ways we can ingest CBD. And when we think about method of delivery, we want to think about how fast we need it, and also how long we need it for, right, depending on our situation. So, for example, tinctures, and when you use a tincture, you want to place it underneath your tongue. Hold it there for 60 seconds before you swallow. And what that does is it allows it to be absorbed into your bloodstream and will activate in 20 to 40 minutes. And it will last for 4 hours. So someone who is, let's say, suffers from anxiety, you want to make sure you're redosing every 4 hours. Edibles, because it needs to go through your stomach to metabolize, takes about 30 to 90 minutes to activate. However, people love it because it lasts much longer, between 4 to 8 hours, depending on each person. And then there are vaporizers. Vaporizers have the quickest onset within 5 to 10 minutes. So it's great for people who suffer from intense pain. They need that immediate relief. Or even someone who may suffer from anxiety and panic attacks and may need that immediate relief to calmness. And they last for about 2 to 4 hours, depending how much you take. And then next are topicals. Topicals are balms, creams, and you can apply it to any pain points, muscle, joint, nerve pain. And that usually works within 20 minutes and lasts for about 2 to 4 hours. And topicals, because they do not go into your bloodstream, you can apply as much as you want and as often as you want, and also in conjunction with ingesting CBD, because it's not going into your bloodstream. So it will not increase your dosage if, let's say, you're taking a tincture or an edible. And then suppositories are great for women who may suffer from endometriosis, fibromyalgia, severe cramping, or even severe lower back pain. And usually it'll take effect within 20 minutes and last for up to 8 hours. Oh, and to answer your question in terms of cost, I gave you the cost of products, and a part of experimenting with CBD is trying different products. And there are tons of CBD products on the shelves. And to find one specifically for your health situation, it's trial and error. So if you have a consultation where I can recommend the best products for your health situation, in that aspect, you'll already be saving a lot of money from the trial and error process. Okay, and when you book the free consultation with me, we review the following: how CBD works in your body, different types of CBD, the different methods of delivery, finding your dosage, and then we create a custom tailored regimen based on your needs and lifestyle. And the whole idea is that I want you to walk away feeling empowered to be your best self health advocate through CBD. And after the consultation, we create your regimen. I will send you an email with links to all the products that we talk about, and you can look at it at your leisure and order it when you're ready. There's no pressure from my website. And I understand that there will always be questions, and I am always open to questions later on regarding maybe your dosage or if something doesn't feel right. I want you to feel reassured that there is always someone there to ask and guide you.
Very good. That would be calmbetterdays.co./consultation in order to make those appointments, right?
Yes, and you can find it on my website. You can book a convenient time for yourself, and then we will meet virtually, or if you prefer just talking on the phone, we can do that as well.
Good.
And I just wanted to also add that I know, Bilal, you said you went to a medical dispensary and they told you were not allowed. So another service that I have available is that once you work with me, right, that's the first step into CBD. And if you find that CBD is still not working for you, it's not helping, let's say, with the nerve pain because it's so intense, and you may need that THC aspect. On my website is Presto Doctor. You can virtually apply for your medical card. And the great thing is you only pay if you qualify for the card. So if you don't have qualifying conditions, you don't get the card, you don't have to pay for that virtual visit, which is great because when I had to apply for my medical card, I had to go physically into a doctor's office, and even if I didn't qualify for the card, I would still have to pay for that doctor's visit. So this is a great service to take advantage of if you need that medical card.
Okay, thank
I am amazed at how you have combined four things: entrepreneurship, education, equity, and access. When's your book coming out?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Cheryl. I need someone to write that book.
You are a lovely guest, Amy, and thank you so much for educating our audience.
Oh, thank you. And that's what it is, because once we educate about cannabis and CBD and understand it's plant medicine, it becomes more normalized. And I want to normalize the plant. I want to normalize mental health because I come from that. And I want to normalize moms consuming the plant. And it all begins with education, learning about it. And that's the first step, I feel.
So is that to say that dads are not stressed out?
No, dads are stressed out too. I just believe moms have a very special role. We tend to take on a lot, and we tend to, sometimes not put ourselves first. And that when we don't take care of ourselves, we cannot take care of our family. So.
It's true. And so I think if we don't have any other questions, that will do it with our discussion for today with Afia Wellness. I'd like to thank Amy Jen for all her information and her education, and everyone who was listening. I hope that we can benefit from this wealth of information. And again, I would like to say thank you to everyone and to have a very blessed day.
Thank you. Thank you, Afia, for having me.